318071, remains of Ms. Teresia Wanya Musangi, including providing relief measures to the family. 3, efforts being made to ensure that Ms. Diana Marita Boyo rest and reunited with her family. And 4, measures being put in place to address the frequent disappearance of Kenyans in the diaspora. And lastly, a report on a long-term strategies being put in place to streamline recruitment of Kenyan abroad in order to enhance accountability and recruitment agencies and employers on the welfare of Kenyan recruited over to request for a statement from the Chairperson Committee Speaker on or around 12th August 2024. A Kenyan, Ms. Teresia Wanya Musangi, caused the family anguish, noting that she had been missing for 3 months and was in good health prior to that. According to the family, additionally, Ms. Diana Marita Boyo of ID number 38318071, remains of Ms. Teresia Wanya Musangi, including providing relief measures to the family. 3, efforts being made to ensure that Ms. Diana Marita Boyo rest and reunited with her family. And 4, measures being put in place to address the frequent disappearance of Kenyans in the diaspora. And lastly, a report on a long-term strategies being put in place to streamline recruitment of Kenyan abroad in order to enhance accountability and recruitment agencies and employers on the welfare of Kenyan recruited overseas jobs. Thank you here in Kenya. So I would wish that before closure of the House so that we get to know what we are going to do. Kindly.
Well, before we come to you, on behalf of the chairman, I would like to give us chance to the member for Taveta. Honorable Haika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, on the same issue of many Kenyans who are disappearing in diaspora, we have so many other cases in the regard of the same issue of Kenyans that, who have died and some went missing. And Madam Speaker, if we can have, requesting as the chair of diaspora committee, if we can have a joint sitting with and so that we can discuss these matters and iron these things jointly and see how we can come up with solution regarding the issues are in trouble, and some of them who have even lost their lives in diaspora, Madam Speaker. So, thank you. And I think we can also involve the Committee on Labor on the same issue. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Cynthia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to add my voice to the statement that has been sought by the Honorable Lilian Sioi. Honorable Speaker, I want to support the Chair, Diaspora Affairs, in her comment that we should be able to have a joint committee, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are so many issues that are affecting the people who go to Lebanon, who go to Saudi Arabia. Some of them, Honorable Speaker, cannot be traced by their families. Some of them, Honorable Speaker, are sick and they cannot access health care. And some of them, Honorable Speaker, they are in dire situations. There are people and women who left this country to work in those countries, Honorable Speaker, and right now, somehow along the way, they got children. Their children, Honorable Speaker, are stateless as we speak. We have 12-year-old children, we have 5-year-old children, 6-year-old children who are living in those countries, and they cannot access basic education, they cannot access healthcare because they are stateless. Honorable Speaker, they are also not able to be processed for deportation. Why? Because they don't have those documents, Honorable Speaker. And I wonder, Honorable Speaker, how is someone who does not have documents?
Honorable members, you just make comments on this one. Do not debate. I know it's a matter that calls for debate. But just make your comments in a minute.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, so that, well, I have another statement that is in the pipeline. I think I'll wait for that moment, then we can be able to issues.
It is now real and an non-existent issues. Since I came to this parliament, it's more than 15 years ago. Every year, there's a question that is being raised about women and their children who are suffering in those countries. Madam Speaker, it behoves us as a house to take, yes, even men. Actually, my research found even our men were suffering in those countries. Madam Speaker, as a house, we are the ones who are failing this country by not taking very firm action and making sure that we provide a framework to ensure, and that's why we even created a diaspora. Madam Speaker, we need to bring our people who are suffering back. And even if it means communicating with those having bilateral communication.
Speaker, once again, is just to respond to a few things that have been said. I want to inform Honorable Millie what the Diaspora Committee is doing, that we are coming up with a bill.
Honorable Millie, do you want to be informed by the Honorable Aika? Make it short.
Thank you. We are coming with a diaspora and migration bill that is on the pipeline. We've been working on it. We have been consulting. So you can also help us by when the time is right. That does not stop us from sitting on the issues of that we are discussing about the loss of lives with the women. The bill is coming, yes, but there are these things which are pending, and yes, they need to be worked on.
Thank you very much. I'll give a chance now to Honorable Martha Wangari, bearing in mind the urgent matter that has been raised by the member and the fact that this House will not be sitting in another 2 months. So what solution can you offer?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I also want to agree with my colleagues that the matters raised are very weighty and very urgent. I know just that last week we had a question from Honorable Agnes Pareyo, also directed to the committee. But Madam Speaker, you also must consider that we answer that the committee endeavors to reach out to the ministry, first of all, on this specific issue, and reach out to the member in person, the chair to reach out to the member in person to help the family. And I know I've seen it happen even in other situations, including a person from my constituency. So if that is sorted out, then the other comprehensive issues will be done in another sitting. And Madam Speaker, I agree on the joint sittings with the Diaspora Committee. We have many shared and overlapping issues, and I think it would be beneficial for both of our committees and to the House to have a joint sitting. That should not be a problem, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Sioi, is that agreeable to you?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. So even after passing the response to the Honorable Lilian Sioi, when the House resumes, you will still table the response for the purpose of the House and the country. The Honorable Member for Tarbaj, Honorable Hussein Abdi Bare.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is a reliable internet and telephone connectivity. This persistent digital gap denies data communication, as well as vital government services that increasingly depend on internet-based platforms. The digital exclusion hinders the marginalized region from catching up with the advantaged regions of the country. Honorable Speaker, it is with this in mind.
Very much. Honorable Charles Nguna, what is out of order? Very much. Honorable Charles Nguna, what is out of order?
Chair, there is nothing out of order, but Chair, I just want to add my sentiments on his statement, Chair. Chair, if you travel in some parts of the country, in this country, you will realize some parts even they don't have existing network completely. To make sure each and every village in this country is properly and adequately connected by Safaricom, Mr. Chair, and other ICT providers, Madam Chair. So I just want to reinforce that don't only investigate Wajir, do countrywide to ensure Kenyans have got Wajir, do countrywide to ensure Kenyans have got right to access right to access to proper communication.
No, there is nothing out of order, honorable members. And in the interest of time, when looking at the order paper, we have very serious business ahead. What is out of order? Honorable Murungara.
Thank you. We have a very, very serious order paper this morning. We are sometimes extending a little bit of our joy to where it should not be extended. Madam Speaker, I request you kindly.
Point taken.
Yes, so that
Take
we
your
move and do.
seat. Take your seat. Honorable KJ.
Thank you, and it is a very important issue that has been raised, and even the additional information that we are getting from the Honorable CNN. We shall also engage the telcos, and we would request, Madam Speaker, that this committee be accorded time
up to the 28th of January to make this response so that we can understand what the problem is with the connectivity, especially bearing the fact that this country reserves some money in the form of Universal Service Fund, which should be covering such uncovered areas. So, Madam Speaker,
please give us the timelines when you are going to respond to this statement.
I had said we are requesting for time up to the 28th of January so that we come.
Is that agreeable? Yes, thank you. Honorable members, I'll give a chance to the Honorable Yusuf Farah. Your request for
Thank you.
statement, very quickly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to request for statement regarding compensation of victims of the Wagala massacre. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44, Sub 2C, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department of Victims of Wagala massacre. Honorable Speaker, the Wagala massacre, which occurred on 10th February 1984, was a dark chapter in the history of our country. More than 5,000 people lost their lives after the establishment of an implementation committee to execute the recommendation. Although the fourth president, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, publicly apologized for the atrocities during the 2015 State of the Nation address, to date, none of the victims and their families have been compensated loved ones. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs on the following. Number one, a report on the status of implementation of the recommendation by the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission, specifically regarding recommendations on victims of the Wagala massacre. Number two, reasons for the inordinate delay in compensating the families and victims of Wagala massacre. And number three, measures being put in place to provide support to the survivors, including providing psychological support and other rehabilitation programs. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Member for Tharaka and Chair.
Okay, sit down. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. We promise to do this as soon as we resume. As regards exactly how far it has been ascertained who is supposed to benefit, and that if there are any provisions made as regards compensation for those victims. It was a very sad incident that occurred at that unfortunate time, but we will be giving a detailed statement as regards exactly what the position is as of today.
Thank you, Chair. That's agreeable.
Madam Speaker, this issue has been here for long, and it's a very sad situation. The government has promised this issue so many times. Now what I'm requesting from the committee, through you, is they call the relevant agencies and invite me in that meeting to conclude this matter. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
You agree with the timelines that he has given? Okay.
Not to sit during the recess period.
Well, Chair.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, yes, we may have time to sit because there's a room after the vacation when the committees will be sitting, but we don't know whether we will be having a response by Fed.
Kick the can down the road, the more this thing will fester. I request that, as Honorable Yusuf has requested, or this thing will fester. I request that, as Honorable Yusuf has requested, that the committee, or which I am a member of also, call these relevant agencies and invite the member, thrash out those issues, and then after that, bring the response to the House, instead of just waiting for us to get a very canned answer, which says nothing, which a lot of members have always been saying that agencies and ministries give us very funny answers. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Dawood.
Agencies and ministries give us
Thank
very
you,
funny
Honorable
answers. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Dawood. Honorable members, this House has faith in the leadership of the Honorable Murungara, and I would like to assure you that this will be done very well. Let us not prescribe to the committee who they are going to invite, and the committee will also seek possibilities of sitting during, if it is possible. But the first week, as the chair has indicated, and every other issue that has been said will be taken into consideration. Honorable members, we have response to questions. And in the interest of time, honorable members, I would like to encourage that you summarize. Looking at the order paper, you can see the business ahead. So we are going to start with the administration and internal security. I can see the chair is seated, waiting to respond to the question by the Honorable Bernard Kitur.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And in response to the statement sought by the Member of Parliament for Nandi Hill, Bernard Kitur, I want to respond as follows. And okay, specifically, he wanted to know the status of investigation relating to the kidnapping and the torture of Mr. Pasgalis Kosgei. And he also wanted to know the step taken by the government to stop abduction and enforce disappearance. And lastly, he wanted also to know when will the ministry, the International Convention for the Protection of All Persons from Enforced Disappearance for ratification. Honorable Speaker, the chairman of border operators in Nandi Hill, Mr. Pasagalis Kosgei, reported that on 15 July 2024, at around midday, he joined local community members together with the Member of Parliament to a peaceful demonstration around the town before proceeding to the Nandi tea factory. Later, same day at around 2 p.m., he went to Embassy Hotel, situated at the Nandi Hill. From there, he received a phone call from former SCCCIO, Nandi East, 1 Chief Inspector, Rahmad Wasialwa, who inquired from him about his whereabouts. And whether he was among the people who had participated in the demonstration. The victims and the abductors, who were armed with pistols, unsuccessfully attempted to force him into their car. He managed to escape from the abductors and reported the matter to the Nandi police station via OB number 341507 of 2024. And he further claimed that after he left the police station, on the same date, on his way home, he was again kidnapped. He stated that he was kept by the abductors in their saloon car and all through. However, one of the abductors who spoke in Kalenjin language convinced the rest to spare him. They, however, tortured him, and before abandoning him beside the tarmac road between Mogowet and Nandi Hill Junction, and he was found by Daniel Kemboi and his brother Henry while unconscious. And he informed the investigating officer that the abductors stole some items from him, to include some cash, a debit card, NHF card, and a telephone phone. The victim stated that the kidnappers accused him of assisting the Honorable Member of Parliament, that is Bernard Kitur, to convene the said meeting, and championing for the Koitalel Samuel University, and also talking ill of the Eastern Produce Kenya Limited, the tea company. During the episode, the victim stated that he was held in abductor's car. The police officers under command of the IP Caroline Ndema, the SCCIO, and Nandi Hill to establish the identity of the abductors with a view to prefer criminal charges